Ryan leaves, do you think Deuce would take over OC jobs? I don't believe he would take over the offensive coordinator position. What do you think, Mike? It's weird saying another Mike
I have,
as your Mike.
yeah, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I
If
mean, I
Go
think
ahead.
he's got. I think he's got more of the fire of a head coach. I want my OC to be like just more contained. I love Deuce, from Hard Knocks, and I was watching him on the sideline.
Yeah.
He's got that emotional, that passionate, like which you need to have, right, to get to convince a 200-pound guy to go run into a whole bunch of 300-pound guys. You got to have that like drive and that fire, which I think he has. But I think my offensive coordinator, and again, this isn't to discount any of Deuce's cerebral qualities, but like I want somebody a little bit more probably stoic as an offensive coordinator. But that's just me talking stupid surface level stuff and having no clue about what I'm talking about. And I'm willing to admit that.
Hey, we all don't know what we're talking about. We're just here having conversations. We just kind of live in the dream, I guess, for the moment. Hashtag F Green
For
Bay.
sure.
Why would anyone want to leave a winning team with the future? Money. I think that would pretty much be it.
Yeah.
Getting a pay raise, getting more responsibility. If you have the aspiration of being a head coach, you want that, then you'd want to leave there. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I mean, for people, but throughout the years, for us to get free agents, we have to overpay people to come to Detroit. I don't think that's going to be the case this time, but that would be why
I don't
people
think
would
so either.
leave. And that's, I think we didn't even touch on this. I think with what we did in Hard Knocks this season, Dan Campbell, you're going to see players want to come here now. And you don't have to
1,000%.
overpay.
I mean, and I don't know. I saw the list the other day of the available running backs. You talked about maybe picking up a running back in the draft. I bet we can get like a Josh Jacobs type guy over here without too
Yeah.
much trouble.
Yeah, if they don't get re-signed, if they wanted to go that
Yeah.
route like a Josh Jacobs, very, very good running back. I think he almost had 1,500 yards or a little bit over that this season. And obviously with the Raiders kind of meltdown with their Carr situation and Josh McDaniels. So, yeah, they could do a route like that and
Yeah.
may not have to overpay.
Because I think in the past, especially with I'm not going to say his name, but the former guys that we had in coach and GM here, this team sometimes is like that retirement league last stop for some people, right? The last door before they hit retirement. We're not going to have that anymore. These are going to be people who want to win. We're going to get people who want to come here and win and not just collect their final paycheck. And I think that is as big a testament to the culture that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built than anything else, is the players who are going to come here for less money than they probably would have in the past.
Paul Garner says, hashtag FGB. Do you guys think that we will re-sign Jamaal Williams? Absolutely. I think he's going to be re-signed. There's no doubt. The guy's a leader. He fits perfect.
I mean, and he's exactly what this team needs. I mean, this team really, I think, embodied him. That ability to contain his emotion like he did about his grandfather or great grandfather passing, to hold that in for a week and just leave it out on the field. He used that adversity, that challenge inside to be better on the field. And then from him to go from using that energy and then basically converting it into a Randy Macho Man talking about Detroit, like at the end there, like he, as much as anything else, he embodies the Detroit Lions culture, the culture of Detroit, more than anybody else on that team. That's no discredit to anybody else, but he's just up here with his intensity, his focus, and everything he's bringing to this team.
And we reward players that play well. That's exactly what Brad Holmes has done. Did that with Khalif Raymond last year. Then we re-signed him again. Jamaal Williams is the heart and soul, I think, of this team. In all honesty, this guy is just. If it ain't Dan Campbell, he's honestly the face of this team. He's just so hype. He's so exactly what we want here in Detroit. I think if we were not to re-sign him, players may not feel good about that.
My wife will be angry. She's he's her favorite, but I think so. Again, I went back and rewatched Hard Knocks, and there's some stuff you can pick up from like body language and everything else. And there's a conversation that Dan Campbell and Jamaal have where Dan Campbell basically says, "I'm not worried about you, right? It's everybody else." I think that Dan Campbell sees Jamaal Williams as kind of that leader on the field, that fire and stuff that Dan Campbell has in coach, and that he has to kind of hold back a little bit on the sideline. Jamaal can actually embody on the field. and that's
Motown
awesome.
Mufasa
Because
says,
I don't think Jared Goff's that type of leader, right? I don't see Jared
no,
Goff as a huge shouting
rah
emotional leader,
guy.
but Jamaal can do that for sure all day long.
He's not the rah guy. Jamaal is the rah guy.
Yeah.
And I think you do got to have one of those guys out there. That's something that you have. I always talked about, like when we hired Dan Campbell, he was so outspoken. We're going to kick you in the teeth and we're going to punch you. That's what Detroit needs because we've been crapped on for years. And you got people defending. It's like, same with Jamaal Williams at the end of the interview. All you guys said we couldn't do it. Every one of you guys said we couldn't do it, and we did it. And that's what you need here. It's like, okay, we're going to push back on you.
I just thought about he embodied what the fans want to say too, right? All of us as fans, we're ready to give that finger to everybody in the media who gave a chance once we won.
Yep.
So it's cool, right? He's embodying kind of Dan Campbell on the field, and he's saying some of this stuff that us as fans wish we could say to some of these media.
100%. And that's what this team needs. I think that's exactly what we got here. And he will definitely be back. I don't know what type of contract extension. Maybe it's like a 3-year deal. But we can afford it, folks. We can afford it. You release Charles Harris, that right there will pay for whatever he's going to make. So we're good with that. Motown Mufasa says, how would you feel about drafting 2 cornerbacks in the first round? That would be absurd, in my opinion, drafting two cornerbacks in round 1 when you got 2 picks there. I don't think that would happen. 1, I do believe will happen. I think a cornerback will be one of those 2 first-round picks. But 2, that's just absurd. To have 2 rookies, that's not going to happen. More likely, they'll get a guy in free agency, and then they'll draft a guy. Because it takes a little bit of time for a corner to develop. So to have 2 rookies, it doesn't seem like something you're trying to do when you're winning the NFC North. You want to see some results quickly.
Yeah, that might be a move for a team that's in a complete rebuild.
Yep.
But a team that's just trying to take that next step isn't going to make that move, I don't think.
And I apologize, everybody. I'm losing my voice. That's why it sounds really funky. I don't know what's going on, but I'm losing my voice. And if you watch my video today, I explained it. So I apologize if it sounds a little bit off. Brian Smith says, what do we do with Swift? This is an interesting question here. And I'm going to ask you, what would you do with DeAndre Swift?
You're asking me? Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I'm not going to lie to anybody. Halfway through that game, I was like, dude, let's just get rid of this guy. But then he's got those moments of greatness, that a couple of those runs that he had helped contribute to the win. Now, do I think that we should re-sign Swift? Yeah. Do I think we should ever run Swift up the middle ever again? No. I mean, it's just we don't put him in a position to be successful sometimes. He's a dancer, right? We see it in every he dances. And in order to be successful, you've got to get the ball out in space. I know he's got some injury history. I know he got beat up in that Green Bay game, but seemed to pop up fine. I think it just becomes one of those things where a whole lot of other variables are going to impact whether or not how long DeAndre Swift remains on this team. Yeah, more consistency. I know that they would like to see more consistency out of him, more fire, more head down. But, it just came out today, I think, or yesterday, right? He had like a separated shoulder or battling through some more injuries. So I feel bad for some of the stuff I said about him, avoiding contact. But at the end of the day, NFL is all about making contact. So I don't know.
I apologize to Swift right now because I doomed him. Last time I spoke to him, I said, you're going to the Pro Bowl. And it didn't happen. So I feel like I doomed him. When it comes to Swift, I think there's a couple things that I've noticed. First off, injury. He gets injured quite a bit. That hurts. Second, I feel like his vision is off. He's not going to the assigned spot that Deuce is bringing up where the running back should go when they go a said play here. So it feels like sometimes he just immediately goes to the edge when maybe he should go in between the right tackle and the guard. And I think that's hurting him a little bit. I feel like that's what's going on. I think he's going to be back next year for sure because he's on a rookie deal still and it's a cheap. But maybe he gets another year to see. But you got to stay healthy. It's got to stay healthy, and you got to do your assignment. If you don't do that,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
the history of this team and running backs, right? I mean, look, I'm wearing a Javed Best jersey because I thought he was going to be the next best thing, right? I mean, carry on. We could laundry list them all if we really wanted to. That stability at the running back position, you got to have that in this league. And yeah, he finished the year strong, but there's always that 4 to 6 weeks that we lose him for a season, and if that happens during the middle of a playoff run or during some meaningful games, we need better than that from that running back position,
Especially
or more
if you want to take it
consistency
the
from
next
that
step.
running back position.
If you're wanting to make a Super Bowl
100%.
run next year, we got to have a stable at running back. Todd Gurley, when he was with the Rams and Jared Goff, that took him to the Super Bowl. You need to have a stability there. I love Jamaal Williams. I think he's fantastic number 2 back. But should we get another one in there with Swift? Possible. I think it's possible. I'd finish that offense. Finish that dang offense and make it from a top 5 offense to the best offense in the NFL. I think if you got another back, that would occur. And you have a 3-headed monster that is unstoppable. I mean, and because I love Swift too. One thing I do like about Swift, he's really good as a pass catcher. This guy can make some big-time plays out of, Jared Goff throwing him the football, and he's just going his thing. So there's definitely a role for him, but we'll see what they do in the offseason with that running back position. Rumor out there is that Karen Rogers, the cashier at Green Bay Aldi today, and not working for State Farm with Jake. Goff getting married this weekend. I think he's getting married this weekend. He could be. He's not too big in talking about personal life, but if he is, congratulations to him. That's a funny comment. Would you trade a 6th, 18th, and number 2 pick to go to the Bears pick? No. I am not going up to the Bears pick. If there's a trade, I'd like to trade back from pick 6 to pick 9, because if you look at the talent from 5 all the way to 10, they're generally in the same area. I think there's 3 bona fide blue chippers, 1 really good player after that, and it kind of falls off a little bit, and we're sitting at pick 6, so no, not trade up. I'll trade back, say, from 6 to 9.
Perfect.